In January of 2025, I had the opportunity to visit the Fairview, Oklahoma Bearhawk facility. The new owner at the time, Virgil Irwin, bought the company after he had completed building his Bearhawk Model 5, and that aircraft was used for a demo flight, which I'm going to share in this video. It is a absolutely gorgeous and highly versatile aircraft. Not just in its avionics and its power, but it's also a 6-seat aircraft that's really capable of carrying that load, almost a 2-ton useful load. So this is the video from that day, that flight, and it's basically fully unedited. And it's Virgil just talking about the 5 as well as the Bearhawk. And as many of you know, I'm getting a companion that I've already been working on. Enjoy.
So this one's just got dual computers in it.
Yeah.
So on the computer setup, they want it 2,000 RPM for the EFII. See, a little drop. And then we'll swap our injection to computer 2. Shouldn't be any change. Now we're back to computer 1. Right now we're running on fuel pump 1. It's about a half PSI drop on fuel pump 2 because there's check valves in it. And then we'll come back to fuel pump 1/auto. So if it ever senses low fuel rail pressure, it automatically kicks on the backup pump.
Gotcha.
And then gives you a notification. And we'll just make sure alternator 2 is making amperage in case we need it. And then 2100 prop cycle. This WE is a warm-up enrichment, so it auto-richens the mixture until it hits a cutoff, which is usually about 100 degrees oil temp. So we'll let it sit here and warm up just a little bit longer.
Cool.
Get a little more RPM to get warmed up. It's not a bad little airport. We got 4,400, which for flight testing is nice. There's enough runway you can fly it a little bit and put it back down if you want to, for some reason. So I flight tested this one out of 1,800 with trees, and it was, if you're in the air, you're committed. You're going.
Yeah.
Would not recommend, but you know, do it. It's a little puckery. Having a big runway is nice, but
I've got buddies at
not essential, but
Lebanon, Mike 54 is when I fly out of.
Yeah.
And I mean, the guy, I've got them all. I'm going to take it into my strip and do the annual.
Yeah.
Drop the 140 off at his hangar, so
yeah.
I'll probably commandeer a hangar for a few months when I get to that phase.
Yeah. See if it'll get warm enough on the ground to get rid of our enrichment or not. Pretty chilly. The Garmin AOA is actually worth the money too if you're putting in a Garmin system. It doesn't complicate the pitot install at all, and then I usually add, this is a GI 260. So it just kind of gives you a heads up that's in your peripheral the whole time, and it works really well. So I usually fly this thing pretty much on AOA after I get full flaps, because it gives you an audible beep as well as that visual in your peripheral, and it works really well.
Cool.
Fairview traffic, Spear 105 Mike Alpha, front runway 35, Fairview.
Nice.
Usually you're looking for 80, 85 initial climb out on it. Keeps it plenty cool, which isn't really a worry today, but that'll always get you 1,000 feet a minute. Today it's closer to, what are we seeing, 1,500-ish, so.
Felt like a helicopter there.
Doesn't take much.
Ian, I feel heat up here.
Is your heat working over there?
Yeah, I've got heat coming in.
My side's still not working. I don't know what the crap's up with that. Really annoying.
You have to talk to the guy that makes these planes or something.
Do what?
Did you have to talk to a guy that makes the plane or something?
Yeah, probably. Probably my fault since I built it.
Oh, this is cool.
Yeah, we'll go. If you guys are cool with some low-level stuff, we'll go out here and fly through the mesas and stuff.
Whatever you're comfortable with.
Cool. It's funny, I get guys out here that, you know, they're from like LA or whatever, and I had one out here that he's like, is it normal to fly low? We're at like 500 feet, and I'm like, I mean, yeah. And I made like a radio call going out, and he's like, do you have to talk to anybody else? I'm like, no. There's nobody to talk to. Yeah, the nice thing moving out here is everybody out here really kind of likes airplanes for the most part.
Yeah.
I haven't had any issues. Pretty much anybody, you're like, hey, can I land out at your place? They're like, yeah, do whatever. When I lived down by Oklahoma City, in the first 6 months this thing was flying, I got called in like 4 times.
Ooh.
Because everybody was like, he's flying low. And I'm like, my airstrip is literally in the middle of town. Like, but it's just so loud, everybody was like, take a picture of the in number. So, for a 5, this is about as slow as you can build one. And we're doing 75% or mid 130s indicated. A stock 5 without a belly pod and a 300 horse, you'll see high 140s, low 150s indicated. They're out in that area of Tennessee. Do you guys have like a bunch of grass strips and backcountry-ish stuff you can access, or is it fairly limited? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, at least a bunch of grass strips. Not a ton of it is quote-unquote like backcountry, whatever you categorically look at that as.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I bet we've got 35 grass strips in Middle Tennessee. And there's a group on Facebook, Middle Tennessee Stole Pilot. And, you know, somebody will throw up, hey, we're going strip hopping.
Cool.
A group of us just go together.
Yeah.
Wow, this thing's fast.
Yeah, it cruises pretty good. Also, I mean, running 75%, we're seeing a little over 16, 17 gallon an hour. It'll suck the fuel down. So, cruising around, I usually average probably about 65% power. I looked back at it in the fuel calculator, and over 200 hours, it averaged 12 gallon an hour.
Oh,
That's
wow.
cross-country demos, flight testing. That's probably skewed a little bit, because during flight testing, yeah, you're burning 20 gallon an hour just wide open.
Yeah.
So. It's been deer season out here. It finally ended, but during deer season, you gotta be careful about running the river because they call the game warden.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I haven't been called in. One of the guys at the airport, though, I guess was like in the middle of rifle season when everybody's out.
Yeah.
Ran this river for like 40 miles, and the game warden got called. And he's like, "What do you want me to do? Like, it's not illegal."
Yeah. Yeah. You can't consider hunting season highly populated.
Yeah.
Did it require a lot of coordination, rudder? And
No, really, they coordinate pretty well. Mainly, you're just kind of making the tail follow with the rudder, but if you take your feet off and, you know, give it ailerons and stuff.
Not much adverse?
Not much adverse on it. The yaw damper on the autopilot's nice just because it helps it, but like I don't fly around with the yaw damp on. I have guys ask me that, but I don't. You can, but I don't know. I'd rather just fly the airplane if I'm flying the airplane. So.
Terrain ahead. Pull up.
We'll go out here to go circle the Little Sahara. There's a state park out here that's a bunch of sand dunes for four-wheelers and stuff.
Obstacle ahead.
I've never flown one of those tricycle gear malls. How do you feel about it?
I don't really like it.
Okay.
I feel like it. You have to carry power in more so than even the tailwheel malls.
Yeah.
Or you're.
It just feels
it's a really,
heavy.
really long rotate. Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
nose heavy. And this one's got a shimmy in the nose wheel where the kid that I'm trying, or I say kid, he's older than me. The guy that I'm trying to teach in it
Yeah.
is struggling to get it nose high enough.
Yeah.
So he's landed it nose first.
Hitting
a couple
the nose
pounds.
on the ground. Yeah.
So I got to repack it, rebuild it during the annual.
Yeah. It looks like it'd be pretty hard to actually put the prop in the ground on that thing, though, with that big nose wheel.
As long as it's got fluid and air, it's fine. It's fine.
We've had, I used to maintain a bunch of flight school planes, and they had the Cherokee 140s.
Yeah.
And those things, I think that I worked at that facility for about 2 years, and in that time, I think we did 4 or 5 prop strike teardowns on those Cherokees. They were, they get porpoised down the runway and get the nose gear beat out of them.
We did 2 in the 2 years that I worked on the DA-40s.
Yeah.
I worked at MTSU's flight school,
Oh, okay.
where I now teach as a professor. But, yeah, they did the same thing.
What do you teach, mainly?
Basically private pilot ground, instrument pilot ground. I teach all of the weather classes.
Yeah.
I love doing it. And then a bunch of aerodynamics.
Okay. We're getting ready to flight test a new leading edge cuff that we may offer.
Okay.
And similar to a Sportsman, but it was optimized for the riblet airfoil. We'll see what it does. It should take our CL max up quite a bit on the wing.
Wow.
And we'll see what it does for cruise speeds. That's going to be the question mark, whether or not we lose it. But my guess is I don't think we're going to lose any, but we'll see what it does. If we end up offering it, it'll be basically an add-on option. We're 3D printing carbon fiber infused nylon ribs that are basically the nose rib form for it, and then it'll be 2 carbon fiber pieces that go onto the leading edge, and it should be a retrofittable deal.
Cool.
But it should, if the numbers are right, this thing stalls about 44 now. It should take it down into the 30s.
Wow.
And then we're poking at some slotted flaps on them too, but that'll take a little longer to get done.
Yeah, that was one of the things I'd want to pursue on the 5 if I do it.
Yeah.
Was the potential for at least a double slotted, potentially Fowler flap. And I didn't know what the inside of the wing looked like until today. So.
Yeah. And we were looking at having an off-the-shelf option to put the double-slotted pistols on these things.
Yep.
It's doable. What I had designed into it to get because those things put a massive amount of torque into the rear spar.
Gotcha.
To get that done, basically there would have to be a bolt-in truss in 3 locations between the front and rear spar.
Oh, wow.
Because those things are huge. There is one Bearhawk that has them.
Yeah.
I went out and flew it, just coming in at 60% power with all those, because it's 66 degrees of flaps. And on these Bearhawks, you have 19 feet between the 2 sides. So it's a lot of flap.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting one. The downside to it is it's a $20,000 mod by the time you buy them and do all that kind of stuff, and it weighs about 30 pounds. So I don't know. The ones we're messing with right now, we're going to hopefully have those flight tested in February. It's just a different flap profile with a kind of a different lower hinge point. It just opens up a simple slot on it. That should make a huge difference on them, and not add any weight or complexity or anything. That's kind of I guess the difficult thing in my mind, now that I've kind of gotten into the manufacturing side of stuff, is making that decision between, if you want to build just the absolute wildest, best performing airplane ever, whatever, you can do that, but now your kits are going up by 40%. and your airplane cost is going up a lot, your complexity is going up a lot. Or you can make simple changes that the reality is most pilots that get in one of these will never actually touch the potential of it anyways. They won't ever learn to fly it that well.
Yeah.
And so it's like, do you build an airplane that performs very well while keeping it simple, keeping it light, and trying to keep it as affordable as possible?
Yeah.
It's a hard line to toe because you're.
It's interesting.
At least my natural inclination is like, yeah, let's build the coolest one ever. But then all of a sudden you got a $150,000 kit, and it's like, if nobody can afford to build them, or I think there is a cap to what people will pay for a kit. I don't know what that cap is, but you start getting so high, you start getting into certified, ready to fly airplane money, and it starts getting a little bit less attractive. So some people look at the kits and as they get the latest and greatest everything. Some people look at it as the cheaper way to fly, but the reality is most of the time it's not the cheaper way to fly. You can almost always buy a used certified cheaper than you can put a kit something together, but you may not get the same performance. This is the Little Sahara State Park. Kind of I doubt there's anybody out there today. I could be wrong, but it's four-wheelers and sand rails and whatever else. Kind of cool. We're working on I finally got in contact with the manager of the park, and we're working on getting permission to land out here and do a photo shoot on it.
That's awesome.
The medevac helicopter seems to come out here about 10 times a week.
Oh man, I bet.
There's, people landing on each other and whatnot. Did you buy your 140 flying, or was it a project?
Both. It was flying. It took about $4.5 grand. New mags, new carb.
Yeah.
The engine was fine. So everything seems to be going well. I love it. It's fine, but it's not. It doesn't fit my profile. I mean, I've never flown my wife in it.
Yeah.
So, and it's partially because I'm like,
well,
I don't know that we should both be in that plane at the same time.
Yeah.
Thanks, Colin.
He and I fly in it all the time. He's a guinea pig. If we don't die, then she won't die.
That 140 I had in my old hangar, they got it all put together, and we were standing around one night, and it's airworthy, and they had to reconstruct the logs and whatnot. So they finally get it done, and we're standing in the hangar. Everybody's looking like, oh wow, look, it's done. And we're like, so who's gonna fly it? There was one buddy of ours that had about 80 hours of 140 time, and we all looked at him and said, I think you're it. And it flew without incident. That stupid thing burned a quarter an hour of oil. I mean, the oil burn never came down on it. And I'm not sure if it was leaking it or burning it, because there's a lot of oil disappearing.
Oh, yeah.
But
I also do maintenance on a buddy's who got an annual. Who needed an annual on his 140.
Yeah.
And it's a show plane. It's polished, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I had to pull the kidney tank and redo the gasket.
Yeah.
Because it was leaking a couple drops every hour. Like on the floor, there'd be a couple drops.
Yeah.
I begged him not to do it. I was like, you're going to introduce more problems than you're going to fix.
It's going to leak worse after you put it back on.
He paid me.
Yeah.
Pull up.
Yeah, that old stuff, you got to be careful tearing into those things, because you tear one thing off and all of a sudden you got 10 problems instead of one. And all of a sudden the motor comes off the airframe and it just spirals.
Yeah.
Watch the
That's what I was nervous about. I thought I'd have to overhaul the engine.
Yeah.
I got away with it.
I watched a friend, he bought a Rans S7 that was, it had time on it, and it had a Subaru car engine in it, and the guy that owned it at the time had yanked it and put a Jabiru in it.
Oh, wow.
And had never flown it, and he goes, oh yeah, it just like needs a little bit of cowling work and final assembly. He got a good deal on it or whatever, and yeah, about 18 months and 500 or 600 hours of work on it later, he rebuilt the whole thing and flew it. So.
Caution.
Guy that flies Subaru or drives Subarus, I don't think I'd ever let one fly me.
Yeah, it was a weirdo like belt drive conversion deal, and that Jabiru motor, those things are a little bit of a pain too. You have to like top end them all the time, and it fought him for a while, but he's been flying it.
I'm hoping to go to Lycoming school next year.
Yeah.
2026, and then maybe find my engine.
Yeah.
And
Terrain
buy
ahead.
it, overhaul it myself.
Yeah. They're out there. There's cores. Barnstormers, honestly, is a fantastic place to find cores. I think I bought 4 or 5 cores off of there in the last 6 months. We've been sending them to Airworks out in Alabama.
Okay.
And so they're kind of our preferred overhaul shop now. And they've been doing really good work for us.
What part of Alabama?
You know,
Terrain. Pull up.
that's a good question. I don't remember their address. But they are all in-house, so when I send them a motor, they're 14-week turnaround.
Oh, wow.
Because they do all their NDT, mag particle, polishing, machine work, case work, everything in-house. They micro-polish all the internals. They balance tighter than a Thunderbolt on the rotating assemblies. And they Cerakote and bake all the cases before they send them out. And they're just gorgeous motors. And he's extremely reasonable on a 300 horse 540. For him to do the full get up on is 46,000. We have to give it a little wrench and then loosen it and push it back forward.
Pull up.
Oh,
Pull up.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Oh well. It'll ride.
Pull up. Pull up.
Yeah, I could get used to that panel. Panel's pretty nice.
Pull
It's you know, once you get used to flying with one of these things, it honestly makes you a little bit lazy, because like you take off, you have every bit of information you could ever need at your fingertips.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I do a fuel count takeoff, especially on a long cross country, and I just kind of judge it by the wind I pick up and click an airport, and it'll tell you fuel if they have a courtesy car, you know, all that kind of crap the entire time you're in flight.
Pull up.
It's nice. The databases are worth it for sure.
Caution. Terrain ahead.
I had a good conversation with Garmin at Oshkosh last year, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna revisit that when the time comes.
Yeah. Garmin,
Ahead.
they've been doing really good with, we finally got our dealership set up and everything with them, and they have great support. They're not the cheapest on the market by any means, but, and I say that, for us to do like a single G3X VFR panel, for us to wire it, laser etch it, build it and everything, we're about 30,000 out the door. If we were to do it with Dynon, it'd be about 25,000. And so it's like, you know, in the scheme of things, at the end of the day.
What's that basic IFR go?
Basic IFR.
The one you were showing me on the
Yeah.
5.
With a single screen in that, those are, I want to say 48,000. And it's a full IFR down to 200 foot. We call it a light IFR, not because it's not, I guess, capable, but it's a GPS only approach system. So with that 375, you can't shoot ILSs or anything like that. So if you were to go shoot a GPS approach, you don't pop out and you need to go shoot an ILS somewhere because you got wildly low ceilings and stuff, you can't. So that's the downside to it. But really what that panel and really like why we designed it and what we came up with is the idea that You know, you can go fly around, you know, you got 1,000-foot ceilings, you can go VFR on top, you can go through layers, you can do all that kind of stuff. But I'm also not really I'm not a hard IFR single engine guy.
Yeah.
You know, you got 200-foot ceilings and you have an engine failure. Not a fantastic situation to be in. You got 200 feet to figure out where you're going when you come out. So, but it's a good option. The reason it's pretty good is that 375 is a $9,000 box, and it's your full ADS-B in and out transponder and IFR navigator in one box for $9 grand. Whereas a 650 like this, that 650 is 16,000 plus the additional transponder you need is 4,500. So you're 20,000 to get the same functionality in addition to an ILS. Whereas that 375 is $9 grand. So basically, you're already running the transponder, which is 4,500. So you basically get to add IFR capability to the airplane for 3,500 bucks when you're building everything, plus a little bit of wiring cost and some antennas. But it's less than $5,000 to take an airplane from VFR to IFR if you do it that way.
Wow.
So it's like, why not?
Yeah.
At that point. Even if you're somebody that's like, I don't know, I don't have my rating, but I might want to. Or, you know, I don't know that you'll fly at IFR much, but having it for safety's sake. So, not a bad way to do it. We were looking at, there's 600 acres right here and down through here. And seemed like a really good idea until I priced how much it was going to cost us to get utilities and everything. And all of a sudden it's like $2 million deep to build a shop out here. And I was like, maybe not.
Maybe down the road.
Yeah, maybe down the road. So.
Woodward traffic, pipeline, Skyline 545 uniform is 5 miles east of the field and over binary left down 35 Woodward.
So your part of Tennessee, is that like Pine Tree part of Tennessee, or?
Not really. It's like rocky ground. Cedars grow up in there, but it's not like the tall pines.
Yeah.
No, we got mostly flat, but we've got some little hills and stuff, and my strip sets kind of down, not in a bowl, but sort of, you fly this almost canyon approach down into it.
Yeah.
And it's one way in, one way out. And I've just been very conservative with the numbers getting in and out with the 140 because I lost them all in there.
Yeah.
Wind shear accident. So I don't want to ever do that again.
Yeah. That strip I used to be off of was one of those that, like, you could use it every day, but it was just tight enough that you had to be on your toes and know what you were doing. And if you're in a legacy airplane, you want to be pretty careful about the performance on it, because you'd have issue getting it up and out and over the trees. It's usually the problem. So we had a guy that flew a 180 horse 172 in and out of there a bunch, and he did fine, but he never went out heavy. I wouldn't try to go out of there heavy with,
Yeah.
because you got to get it up and climb. But had a buddy that flew a Cardinal in and out of there a bunch too. Pipeline. It's a 19,000 hour Cardinal that was a pipeline patrol airplane. Just, you know, absolutely worn out. I always wonder what the old Cessna engineers would tell you if you flew. And they're like, yeah, I flew one of those airplanes 20,000 hours. Did they intend for them to be flown 20,000 hours? I don't know.
Woodward traffic, Skyline 45 uniform is left down 1 runway 35 Woodward.
We've got we keep a grass runway over on the east side of the main runway we'll go land on. Fairview traffic, experimental 5 Mike Alpha on left base 36, Fairview. We'll do a full flaps approach, and full flaps in one of these, you're pretty much always going to have power in it if you got that much drag out, because there's a ton of flaps on these things. Kind of feel the drag inducing on it. So this is kind of a pretty normal, you'll see that AOA around, it's about a 1.3 VSO approach. If you're getting really spicy with it, you'll get it down well into the 50s on final. But doesn't really take much. Cool. Yeah, that companion, a slow approach and a patrol or companion. Our patrol, I come in 40 indicated full flaps, and you got tons of margin.
Gotcha.
GPS-wise, that's, if you're comparing it, I think there's some position error there in the pitot static, because it indicates 40, but you're really doing 44, 45 GPS. You can get it down into the high 30s. You just got to watch it dropping out on you at the bottom, get all the energy out of it.